everybody, it's Emily Burris in the KOIN Now studio. I'm really excited to get to sit down today with an artist and illustrator, someone who is just synonymous with Portland and keeping it weird. Truly one of Portland's biggest joy creators. Please welcome to the KOIN Now studio, Mike Bennett. Mike, how you doing? It's great to see you.
Great. Thanks for having me. What an honor.
Well, thank you for joining me. This is fun to get to sit down for an off-air chat, a little more chill, casual way to kind of get to know the man behind truly some of Portland's most prolific illustrations. I see your signs and your artwork everywhere. Does it ever get old seeing all of your designs around town?
Ooh, does it ever get old? Yeah, but that just leads to me making more stuff.
Yeah. So let's go
Gotta
back
find
to the
more
beginning.
stuff.
I mean, let's
Yeah.
kind of go back to when the signs, the lawn decorations, all of this first started from your Northeast Portland garage, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of wild. I when we got this garage in our house, I was like, oh, it'd be cool to paint in here someday. Little did I know, I would just completely take it over, and there'd be no room in there for years.
So yes, you did kind of take it over, but to all of our benefit, truly, because it has been so fun to see all of the cool stuff that you have gotten to create over the years. I remember first connecting with you. Gosh, it was right during the pandemic, right? When everything had kind of shut down, we were all spending a lot more time at home, and then all of a sudden, this really fun A to Zoo, all these animated creations started popping up in your neighborhood.
Yeah, and the A to Zoo was just like such a response to the isolation in a way where I think I learned through the pandemic that maybe I do need to be around people, even though I thought I might have been an introvert. Maybe I wasn't. So adding these creative animals to my front lawn and bringing this art to life in a way that you could visit every day safely was really special. It's hard to be nostalgic about that time, but there's some magic in the air creatively from that era.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the reaction at first, like when all of your art kind of started picking up steam, and people really started taking notice of this fun neighborhood artwork, and it blew up online. You went viral on Reddit. You went viral on social media. How did that feel when things really kind of took off in a big way?
I mean, it was surreal, but I guess as an artist, it is also kind of like your dream to have your art take off. So, when it's happening, you're just like, oh, is this it? Is it finally happening? Um, I think when the slow signs started ending up in people's lawns, that was when I was just like, whoa, not only do people like this, but people like want to open their front door to this. That's a really special thing, and those continue to go out the door and end up in people's lawns. And I don't know, it's really special. The city does a really great job of adopting ideas, and I'm honored to be one of those.
For sure. For sure. I mean, I thought, seeing this stuff around town, I'm like, this is so cool. And I love that this is someone who's, part of this community and is creating art truly for the purpose of creating joy and creating community and bringing people together. That seems like that's always kind of been the focus of a lot of your work. But I'm curious, did you always know that you wanted to be an artist? How did you first kind of find the visual arts?
Yeah, I mean, I imposter syndrome is a thing, right? So like, I would make a lot of art and force it on my friends via just like, hey, look at this thing I made, or this is like pre-social media. Um, but Vine was really the moment. I don't know if you remember Vine. I'm sure
Oh,
you
yeah.
do. The 6 second looping video app. I was definitely like a fan of people in those days. So I would draw some of my favorite creators and send them an illustration of their face. And then I would see people start to use it as their profile picture. And I was just like, wait, this is cool. And then people started asking me to make them for other people. And it was just like, whoa, people actually like this stuff and they want to use it. And it kind of gave me the confidence. This was like, I lived in central Pennsylvania then. So my reach was not very far. Interpersonally. It was without the crutch of the internet, I couldn't do much.
Yeah. Well, and then of course it's like you move to Portland, you find kind of a home with, it seems like a lot of your art focuses on the natural world, whether
Yeah.
that's animals or plants or planets or the ocean. Why has that been such a focus for you?
I mean, I went to college to be a teacher. I never followed through with that dream. My mom's a teacher. I loved school. The books that I had as a kid were, all nature based. I used to like collect poison dart frog toys. It's just me, I think. And like that's advice I give to any artist is just like make art that you would want to see. And
Mm.
just the way my brain works, I want to make cartoon versions of things that actually exist on this cool planet we live on, especially now when we have to like do everything we can to protect them. Um, educating through cartoon art is a pretty special thing, and I'm just glad I get to do it.
Yeah, I noticed you kind of you put your head down. You're like, I never became a teacher, but in so many ways, you absolutely are. I feel like you have taught so many kids here in our community and beyond about all these different kinds of plants and animals and fish and art opens it up in a way that sometimes kids don't always connect with in school. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely one of those kids. I struggled to focus. Recently diagnosed with ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
But just like being able to put this work out there in a format that works for my brain is just a different way than a textbook might think. And I think any thinker or creator can do that. But I'm just so lucky to have the platform to be able to. We wrote a book for the Portland Aquarium that people get to keep, and I hear from people that they're still like their kids are still flipping through it and reading it and learning things, and that's just so amazing. I get to teach through art now.
For sure. Yeah, the Portland Aquarium, probably your biggest, most ambitious project to date, right?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I mean, certainly as far as like number of species and like the education aspect, it's definitely massive.
Yeah. Where did the idea come from for an aquarium in downtown Portland with no actual water and no actual live fish?
So I made this dinosaur museum a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was hugely successful, and I love dinosaurs. Who doesn't? But it kind of was just like it unlocked this way of thinking of just like, well, if I can make a dinosaur museum, could I make an aquarium? Could I make a zoo? Could I make an indoor rainforest or an indoor hiking trail? And it kind of is just like, well, I guess if I'm willing to try, I can do that. Um, I found this space downtown, and it was like just cavernous enough to not be something uh, big, so I had to kind of shrink it in, and underwater just felt right for the space. So I just checked it off my list of things I want to make someday.
That is so cool. It just it's a completely immersive world. It's one of those things where I look at a lot of your projects and think, "Oh my gosh, if this had been around when I was a kid, I would be obsessed." What's the reaction that you get from a lot of kids and families, big kids too, who come to
That's
visit?
so funny. I mean, obviously, a lot of the kids that are coming to this are either aware of what I've done and have been to something I've done in the past, or we're like right in the heart of like the hotel district downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of kids who like walk in kind of expecting something and then just have this like, and I'll use the phrase that's been being used. It's like people feel like they're walking into SpongeBob. It's like I see this on the TV, but now I get to walk through it, and
Mm-hmm.
I expected. I didn't wake up this morning knowing what I was. I just love that this stuff isn't big enough for like families to necessarily plan a trip here. They find it spontaneously, and anytime I've been on vacation and I find something that I didn't expect, it just sticks with me so much. If like one kid in 20 years gets to say, I went to this cartoon aquarium and I don't remember what it was called or even where it was, but like the moment I walked in that space, like I can still remember to this day. Like that would be such a cool thing.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh, yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure that's already happening, for a lot of kids. And I do think they will remember where it was and that they got to check out this really cool thing in Portland because I do think you have been a big part of, making these spaces where families feel safe. You're getting people back into downtown after a couple real rough years there during the pandemic and protests. And have you kind of stopped to kind of think of the weight of all that? Like you have become between the aquarium, Wildwood Springs, your previous dinosaur exhibit, like you've become a big part of the community as a whole.
I mean, I feel it, and I do feel the responsibility of that. also. Like I don't want to stop, which is good, but I feel like I can't stop now. I think really since the pandemic, the third space way of thinking has become really important. Of you have home, you have work. Where can you go in between and not spend $1 billion to spend time there? And Wonderwood and the aquarium and anything that I've done in my front lawn has always been that of just like a place to go and just kind of like soak in your surroundings and make friends. I mean, we're doing all these markets at Wonderwood, and like I'm seeing people become friends in a parking lot, and it's just such a cool thing to make space for others. I think
Hmm.
it's really important, and it's a really important way to think as you create space across the city, especially here in Portland.
Sure. Yeah, I think something magical really does happen when you intentionally try to find those places where anyone can come and feel like they have connection and belonging. You're breaking down those barriers to make fun accessible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
accessibility, right? Like we want to be the attainable Disney. That's really what I'm making my North Star. Like I would be lying if I said I mean I make this stuff because I love Disney World as a kid.
Yeah.
I love being immersed, and I just want that to be something that anyone can attend.
Well, okay, so as a kid who also grew up obsessed with Disney and Florida transplant here, I spent so many days at Disney World, right? Growing up, loved that. I'm curious, what do you consider as some of your biggest artistic influences?
Ooh, I mean, obviously I grew up in the '90s, so
Uh-huh.
like '90s Nickelodeon era is huge for me. Rocko's Modern Life, Angry Beavers. I used to get in trouble for reading Calvin and Hobbes so late at night. I'm sure my parents were that like, oh, he's reading, but we have to go tell him to go to bed. Calvin and Hobbes just like did this perfect balance of heart, imagination, and just like being a little on the edge of appropriate, like just a little.
Hmm.
Um, and I've always kind of loved that. Like I always say, Shrek way of thinking of just like there's something here for everybody. It's not just for kids. Um, so anything that kind of falls into that category of just like, yeah, but we thought about you too, Dad. Don't worry, we have something fun for you also.
That's great. And I think, your designs are so recognizable around town. All of your fun little critters, their little googly eyes and stuff. Do you have some illustrative influences there? Or how did you kind of
Yeah, I
craft
mean,
your style?
the thick black lines of all my creations is very much like the way that '90s cartoons were illustrated,
Hmm.
which I didn't like choose that. I think it's just like
It's just like embedded in your brain at this point.
yeah, and you're asking an artist how to describe how they make art, and it's just like we all struggle so much with this. So I think as I've like talked to more artists, like there is just kind of like a medium and a style like hiding in there, and it just like comes out at some point, and I just happened to find it, and I stuck with it, and now I'm growing that and trying to chisel away at making that the most efficient and like effective way of art production. So
Yeah. Really cool. I'm sure that's hard, as an artist too. Yeah, to just be like, describe and quantify and like categorize. Like it's tough when you're like, I just want to create the things that are in my head.
but it's funny. I have like secret rules that I even am even not aware of. Like
Yeah.
always light on the left and shadow on the right on my drawing. You notice
Oh.
that when you come in and like redraw the eyes like 400 times every time I'm drawing a new character. I always start there. The way I do the shadows are always the same. The way I do like the little dashes and lines. I think it all like is part of this like weird potion that you make, and like I'm just not always aware of that potion because it's like my hand is doing a lot of the work.
Yeah. Okay,
Cool.
I'm gonna pay attention to that now. Light on one side, dark on the other when I come and check out all your stuff. So, I am curious what advice you would have for someone out there who loves to draw, loves to paint, loves to doodle, does all kinds of graphic design. Our creators out there, our young creators who are
Yeah.
wondering, can I make a career out of this? What would you say to them?
Well, I think we're like blessed and cursed to be in the era we're in with creation,
Yeah.
right? The internet is making it so easy to have a platform, and I think that almost, and I got stuck in this too. It almost takes away from why you're making the art in the first place. An audience is a great thing, but if you're trying to build an audience around something that you don't love, then what's the point? So I think if you can, when you're trying to sit down and figure out like what do I want to make it for you first. Make it without anyone else in mind. Make it something that like you would want to pick up off a shelf or to hang in your home or just to look at on your phone screen. Like you are the most important audience member, and it takes a long time to get to that point. So
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, though. You mentioned that you were just recently diagnosed with ADHD. Can I ask you about what that was like being diagnosed as an adult, and has that kind
yeah.
of changed your workflow at all?
Well, I don't know if it's changed my workflow. It was a surprise and not a surprise. You always have these suspicions.
Yeah.
Um, but it did change the way that like I think about how I think, which you know, the ability to be able to dig into these giant projects and really hyperfixate is one thing, but being able to like get in your own way when you have these big deadlines and projects is another. So I see both sides of my personal spectrum of just like when I really want to make something, I'm going to make it. And when I'm really not that motivated, I have a tough time. And just having the diagnosis has let me take a step back and think like, is this just the way my brain works? Do I need to like zoom out and just remind myself that I can like force myself to get something done if I have to? It's been really helpful because before it was just like, why can't I do this? Why can't I get this project done? And now I kind of like I'm able just to like I don't know zoom out and just tell myself things.
Right. And having kind of that awareness of like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe this is why these things have been such a
Yeah.
challenge for
What
me
do I
over the
have to do in
years.
my environment to make this work? And
Hmm.
that's helpful. So
Just naming it can sometimes be a
yeah,
helpful source of support for
yeah.
sure. Well, that is not the only thing that has changed in your life over the last couple of years. You're also a new father. And we are going to take just a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Mike about how fatherhood has changed the creative process. Hang on just a second. I just have to pop up a little screen here for a quick so they can add a commercial break later. And I can't figure out how to add in our little names. Our little lower third graphic isn't working for me today. I'm sure there's a button I'm pushing wrong, but hopefully people will know who you are. I will say it again at the end of the interview since you're,
Uh,
yeah, since we have not figured out all this stuff on my end yet. Okay. Coming back from a break. Let me get that set up. Okay. All right. Well, hey, we're back, everybody, with artist and illustrator. One second, and take two. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm gonna actually just pop this screen up again and let them know. I bookended all of my mistakes with a beautiful view of Mount Hood. Okay. All right, hey, so we are back with artist and illustrator and overall joy creator, Mike Bennett. So, Mike, I mentioned you are a new dad. Congratulations. I mean, I'm stretching new a little bit because little Gilda, your daughter, is almost one.
She's gonna be 1 in August. It's just crazy, and I don't know what happened to our year.
Oh my gosh. Well, you and Michelle are just the cutest parents. It's been very fun to kind of get to follow along on this journey because you've shared a lot about Gilda on social media. I'm curious, how has fatherhood kind of changed your work, your life? I feel like it's probably changed everything, right?
It has changed literally everything. What they say about being a parent is so true. I always wondered if it was cliche, but yeah, I just can't get over what it's done to my brain and heart. Not easy about it, but I mean, my wife and I both will just get caught in these moments of just like, how are we so lucky? How is this who we got? And that's how every parent feels. But she's the best. I've made art for her already. I made her a book. When babies are born, they have a tough time seeing. They see it black and white,
Yeah.
monochromatic, very easier to see. So I made her a little book of black and white creatures, and um, I look forward to the days of like Gilda's really into elephants, so I'm gonna make her one So when she comes home from school, it'll be in the backyard.
Oh my gosh.
And I'd be like, Dad, I hate cartoons. But we'll see.
No, I don't think that's coming for a long time if it ever does.
Yeah,
She is the luckiest little girl to get to grow up with like a dad who can truly make anything that's in her brain, right?
yeah, I just can't wait to see what it does. And we've shared a little bit of the process of IVF and the experience around that, and why we did it. And we've shared some about her life, but I'm excited for those moments that are just for us.
Hmm.
You know, I'm excited for that stuff. Like it's just it's just so cool. To just like to bundle this all up into one nugget is just like I made art for me, then I made art for everybody, and now I get to make art for Gilda, and it's like really special to kind of zoom in again. Not to keep using that phrase, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I know when we were setting up a time for us to chat, you had mentioned you're like I keep one day a week that is, just for me and Gilda. I think our generation is trying to largely grow up a little more hands-on in a lot of ways with parenting, or just like recognizing the changes that we want to try and make to tip the scales on that work-life balance a little bit. What do you see, as being a dad now about like trying to balance that going forward?
you know, Michelle and we have unique jobs, we have with unique schedules, and I know that we are lucky to have those because it allows us to spend time during the day with her.
Hmm.
Don't have 9 to 5s. We still have to figure out how to work 8 hours a day, but we can start working when she goes to bed. And I know not everyone is in that situation. However, if you can figure out a way just to remind yourself that the most important thing is this little human, um, I don't know. I just find myself staring at her so often. Like I'll put on a song and watch her listen to it, and it's just like those little moments are what's reminding me that this is so important. And then, you know, you blink and it's a year.
Yeah.
And, like stuff she can do now is stuff she couldn't do 6 months ago, and who knows what it's going to be like 3 months from now. I don't know. It all moves really, really fast, and it's reminding me how much of life moves fast. We're talking about the pandemic like it was yesterday, but it was
Hmm.
when some of this art stuff that I was doing started, and that's bonkers.
It,
So
it really is. In my brain, 2020 is still like last year. Yeah, I get stopped by that all the time.
90 is still like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. We're now closer to the, what did I see on social media the other day? We're closer to the year 2050 than we are now the year 2000, and that
But,
broke my brain.
well, having a baby breaks your brain in other ways.
You've done a really good job though of capturing all of these wonderful little memories and moments. Both through your art and in the wonderful community you've created on social media. You're going to have all that to hang on to for many, many years to come. Before I let you go, I purposefully, did not show a bunch of stuff, all of your creations while we were talking, because I want people to go and find you online and find you on social media and see the platforms that you've created and all of this wonderful stuff they can come check out in town. So where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me at Mike Bennett Art on pretty much any platform, for the most part. If you want to find me in person, come to the Portland Aquarium. We're open 7 days a week at the corner of Broadway and Alder. We open at 11 a.m. every day. I also have Wonderwood Springs, which is a miniature golf course and a restaurant in St. John's, that I'm very proud of. If I could recommend one thing for that, come to Bard Bingo every Tuesday,
Yes.
6 to 8. It's the most insane way to take in that space and take in live performance. And just reach out to me on social media. I'm always around, and I'm always happy to respond. And you know, come say hi.
Bard bingo. That bard. They they are silly. They are a silly one.
Wild time.
Bard bingo, Tuesdays from 6 to 8. Yes, go find Mike Bennett on social media and around town for all of these wonderful things. Mike, thank you so much for chatting with us today. It's been lovely.
It means a lot. Great to see you.
Of course, likewise. And hey, if you want more from KOIN Now, you can always find us online and on KOIN.com. Have a good one, everybody.